one amazing series of YA novels, an insatiable thirst to relive the glory that is K.A. Applegate's literary masterpiece. This is Fanimorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. Animorphs number 17, The Underground.
Hello, and welcome to the Dork-Bajir Chronicles, a Fanimorph podcast where we read through the Animorph series one book at a time and then talk about it every week. Today we'll be talking about Animorphs number 17, The Underground. My name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Braden, the weird metaphor for newbie.
The
Nice.
joke there is that that's what's written in the show notes.
Hey, nice.
Choice.
Today we're going to be
to that point
introducing...
where he doesn't even write his own jokes now.
Has he ever written his own jokes? You don't even know how many jokes I've had to email him for
I don't
shows.
write jokes.
They just come to you from God.
He channels them.
Yeah.
It's his channel divinity move.
Okay, oh my god. We're going to start a new segment this week called Fanimail, or at least that's the working title.
Fanimail, where these dorks read your fan mail.
Guys, can I just say how great it is that we have fans to send us mail?
I know.
Yeah, it's
What?
kind of weird, right?
This is weird. Like, I feel like I should, pay better care about what I'm saying. Otherwise, people are going to call me out and I might lose my expert title.
Michael Grant retweets us.
He did. Like, what?
He commented on a tweet. Anyways, if you guys want to get in contact with us, you can find us at Dork-Bajir on Twitter. We're Dork-Bajir Chronicles on Tumblr, Facebook. Just Google it. You know how that works. Or you can email us.
Do we
have
still
an
have
email.
an Instagram?
We do still have an Instagram.
Yep. You can email us at dorkbajirchronicles@gmail.com if you're interested. Tessa, my understanding is the Tumblr crew has gotten in contact with you recently.
Tumblr crew has gotten in contact with me recently. First off, I gotta make a shout out to our special fan, Zarok, who always tags the Fanimorphs in the best stuff on Tumblr. I just got a post here about someone says, "Listen, if I ever got the power to morph, you bet your sweet ass that I would go out of my way to acquire a mantis shrimp. A mantis shrimp. I want to see the forbidden colors." And then Zarok, somebody
Pretty good.
goes into detail and talks about the forbidden colors.
The mantis
and
shrimp, yeah.
ultraviolet
The colors that
and
shall
stuff
not
like
be
that.
named.
And Zarok reblogs it, tags us in it, and says, "For live from the gardens."
Yeah. The Oatmeal
Like-
did a pretty cool comic breaking down
Breaking
what,
down the mantis
Uh-oh,
shrimp.
the oatmeal.
Yeah.
Topical.
Topical.
Oh, it is. Oh my.
It's very topical. There's another recent tag from Zarok is, Mikhail, this will interest you. This is a conversation between Anonymous and WTF Animorphs on Tumblr. It's somebody who's rereading all of the Animorphs books or not rereading, just straight up reading all of the Animorphs books for the very first time and does like a chapter by chapter breakdown analysis. Anonymous asked them, "What kills me about this book, book 13, is that these fucking awful, mannerless children asked the difference between boys and girls. Don't ask the aliens to give you the alien talk, kids. That's weird. You're lucky the answer was just the horn thing." WTF Animorphs is like, so rude, although they definitely imply strongly that there are other anatomical differences that are just none of the Animorphs' business, and I am proud of them for having boundaries.
Who said that? You said that?
No, that's WTF Animorphs. So this is, Zarok just tagged me in on this conversation because they know that we love hearing about the things that only Dork-Bajir can know. But then,
If it's not clear by now, also, listeners, I don't understand how Tumblr works, and
No.
I probably won't ever. I have tried,
Mikhail,
a lot.
if our life was book 16, Mikhail is Cassie and I am Marco.
If the whole
Just
world was
in the-
just Tumblr.
Just in the first chapter. But the real hero is the user who goes by the hero of Akron Canton, who replies to this conversation saying, "So, the difference between male and female Dork-Bajir is, sunglasses emoji, how horny they are."
God damn it.
Oh, see, it's a literal thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when it's
Let's
the
get
number of
that
horn-
guy on the cast.
they don't call it horny when it's a number of horns. It's how horned you are. Horny is a sex thing. I don't.
You're right.
I think
That
you
guy-
should.
oh,
let
I
that guy
see.
Guy's
know.
an idiot.
Oh, I didn't. God, egg on my
What
face.
a snafu.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's really embarrassing. Ugh.
That's
I feel
wow.
bad.
This podcast is for citations of experts only.
Yeah. We're gonna need like APA style.
Yes.
We're excited at
Yes.
the end, or else forget it.
Yeah,
Nothing's getting. No, I'm just kidding.
If you want to see
Anything
our
goes.
citations page, email us. We've got it all listed.
Yeah, Tessa's working on that pretty hard.
Oh, God. Sure.
Okay. Speaking of
All right.
Tessa doing stuff, let's hear that summary for Animorphs number 17.
I got us a summary for Animorphs number 17. Can I just say that this book, I didn't read it a lot when I was a kid. It wasn't one of the ones that was in the library a lot that I remember. I like the cover. I think it's really interesting. It's much more dynamic than a lot of the other covers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
It's painted, not. It doesn't use morph editing. It's individual
No.
paintings. You can see.
yeah. And like,
And we
I'm
just learned that the artist name for that was David Mattingly.
Yeah.
What? Good job, David.
Good
We
job,
loved
David.
your art. But I just feel really drawn to this book now because, being a vampire, the only thing that I can morph into is bats and a small cloud of gas and a dog sometimes. So
Brayden and I have been having a side conversation about your running vampire joke. Brayden, do you want to break the news or should I break the news?
Yeah. Tessa, vampires aren't hot anymore.
what?
Yeah. You gotta drop this bit.
No,
Vampires
but
aren't hot anymore.
they're like the hottest thing ever.
No,
Interview with
Twilight,
a Vampire just came out.
Yeah, and then
what?
Twilight came out and kind of ruined it.
No, they're still very hot. Those books were incredibly successful.
listen. You know what is in right now?
What?
Zombies. I'll meet you in the middle.
What?
Your bit can be that you're a mummy.
Ooh, I like that. It's
Yeah.
it's like the toilet paper prank, but all the time.
Yes, but undead, but still intelligent, like a vampire, but not played
still,
out.
And still bangable, like Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Who was the mummy in the movie The Mummy? No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was. It's a little known part. He actually he Doug Jones'd the Mummy before Doug Jones was there.
Yeah, if you really if you do a literary analysis, aren't we all the mummy? Anyways.
So then I'll retire the vampire bit and I'll bring out my spooky mummy jokes for when the kids go to Egypt.
Yeah.
Wow, spoilers.
Yeah, that's great. That's perfect, man. That's
All right.
what we need from you.
But let's
Yeah,
jump in
exactly.
on this plot breakdown, shall we? So, the opener, Planet Hollywood is opening up. I don't know what this is. I never have. It's an American thing. There's a bunch of stars. The kids are very excited, so they've all morphed into birds of prey to watch. And while they're scoping it out, they see this guy jump off a building. And they're like, oh shit. So Rachel, being Rachel, she bald eagle dives and catches him. But she's a bald eagle and he's a grown-ass man. So they fall into the river. She lets him go, swims as a bird down to the bottom of the river, and demorphs in the mud, and then remorphs into a dolphin and pushes him to the shore where some other guy grabs him. And this other guy is lauded as a hero, is like, you saved him, and does interviews and stuff for saving this suicidal man.
And that
Whereas-
man
was Albert Einstein.
Bill Gates.
No, Bill Gates doesn't exist. It's Joe Bob Finestre.
No, guys, it was
there's
Arnold.
Elon.
Come on, guys. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Oh, right.
You
that was a real
actually
famous person.
I
I forgot.
You were
too.
opening up for a bit.
No,
No, I forgot.
I 100%
I super
forgot
forgot.
that it was that Arnold Schwarzenegger grabbed her out of the river, grabbed the guy. That's so funny. And then, of course, Marco was just like, Arnold, get to the chopper. You know, all the topical
You know how it be.
references. Cassie is like, Rachel, you saved this man's life. And Rachel's like, did I? I mean, I was really just doing it for the thrills, and I'm uncomfortable thinking that my actions have consequences. But the kids decide, you know what, let's, for some reason, go on a bus trip and visit this rescued jumper in the insane asylum where he's currently being held captive.
That's not true. Rachel's mom, when Rachel comes home, they have that little, Rachel and her sister have that little spat about Rachel was saving some Chinese food and her sister threw it out. But then her mom comes home and says, guess who I'm representing? That guy who tried to kill himself, but Arnold Schwarzenegger saved him. His family is trying to have him declared mentally unfit to yada, yada, yada. So I'm representing the family in that court case.
He keeps talking about there being aliens in his brain.
And she says Yeerks. So that's why they go visit him, because they decide it's relevant to their guerrilla warfare interests.
So I'm going to peek behind the curtain here. I did not reread this book before writing this little summary.
Wow.
I did this all from memory because I'm the expert and I wanted to challenge myself. So
I did have opening the kimono.
That's a term that some people on some podcasts use, Brayden, and as it is their
including ours. I've
intellectual
used it
property.
Times.
I didn't want to use it.
We're have the 4 pages into this book.
I did have the bit where Rachel yells at her sister for throwing out her old Chinese food, and her sister is like super sass master, and their house is still destroyed from book 12 when Rachel threw an elephant at it. So anyway,
it is not still destroyed. It is.
Yeah, it's
Rachel
like being repaired because
Rachel
it was destroyed.
That she runs into their new island because she forgets it's there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In my head, when I was a kid and I first read this, I'm a fast reader. And I was also a stupid kid, so I just thought it was
just back off because I'm a
destroyed.
fast reader. So
I couched it with calling myself a stupid kid. Get off my back. Anyway,
I was a smart kid and a fast reader. Come at me.
Oh, good. Where has it gotten you? You're now co-host of an Animorphs podcast.
My title is the host. You guys are just
right.
I drag along. And also, Brayden is my best friend.
Ouch.
Ouch.
What am I, chopped liver?
No.
Thanks, man. I'm genuinely touched.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Brayden's best man, so.
Wait a minute.
That works.
Was that just to get in my pants?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Big time.
Well,
forging right ahead with this recap. Mm-hmm. Spoiler alert. If you reread this book, just be warned. There's a whole bit where they make a bunch of ableist jokes about mental health, and they just call everyone nuts, and everyone keeps making jokes about nuts and being nuts and yada yada yada. And at one point, Jake tries to make a joke like that, and like no one laughs. And it's one of those moments where they must have had a secret meeting where they just decided that they need to make Jake feel bad about his sense of humor.
Oh, I thought it was like
gag.
No, it's just a poorly.
The idea is
like,
no,
well,
but
it's also like you guys are joking around as employees, and then your boss comes up and he's like, "Oh, right, like looking that Kanye West, am I right?" And then everyone's like quiet because it's awkward because their boss is like trying to talk to them like they're not their boss.
I feel because it's still early in the war and he isn't like he's still an uncomfortable leader. Like as we saw in book 16, he's still wrestling with it. I feel like it's more that they just don't like Jake's jokes, because it does come up later where actually the very next book, book 18, it comes up where Jake makes a joke and like it's panned as critically terrible. So it's a thing. This is like a character development. Anyway,
we were doing a meta thing where we don't think you're funny.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry. It doesn't have to be meta. I'm not actually funny. Wha-bump.
But you do read really fast.
I read so fast, you guys. Speaking of,
you get all
they
the
talk
words
to this
right.
guy. The Yeerk can't leave his head and doesn't need Kandrona is crazy. Because he's
the man who jumped off the roof.
The audience will hopefully know that. But to be fair, we did take a really long sidebar.
Yes.
So the man who jumped off the roof, the Yeerk is in his head. Sometimes he's in control, but other times the Yeerk is in control. And it's driving him crazy because the Yeerk has gone crazy because he ate instant maple and ginger oatmeal.
Yes.
Nice. So the kids are like, holy shit, some guy just threw nukes into our lap, literally. Let's sneak into the Yeerk pool and dump some oatmeal there. Yeah. So they morph into flies.
But they do establish that it's a drug. The Yeerk, the reason the Yeerk kept eating it and is stuck in his head is because it's a drug to the Yeerks. Yeah.
It's incredibly addictive, and it somehow has enough nutrients that work as Kandrona rays.
Also makes them immortal? Effectively immortal, because like a Yeerk would die after 3 days without Kandrona rays, but assumedly even a single dose of oatmeal has now made him perma attached to this human host. It's and
I think
not worrying
he's, like,
about and no
my
longer
head-
worrying about dying.
In
They
my
even
head,
say
it-
at one point, like, oh, he doesn't need Kandrona or oatmeal anymore. Like,
Yeah.
he's just crazy forever and
Yeah.
will live
and
forever.
he's just stuck there. In my head, I always thought of it as like something in the oatmeal to kind of dissolve the Yeerk's sluggy body, and it had him melded with the brain.
I believe it specifies that it fuses the Yeerk's brain stem.
Yeah, so that he can't like splooge out of the other guy's brain and get out of there.
Zacto.
So yeah, effectively immortal until at least for the length of the host. And yeah, it's incredibly addictive. So the kids are like, haha, let's sneak into the Yeerk pool and do some damage. And they do this by morphing flies and sneaking in through a McDonald's because the Yeerks have set up secret entrances in McDonald's. I think it's this book where do they reveal the password in this book? They better.
Yep. Extra
So
happy.
what happens is a controller will go up and ask for a Happy Meal with extra happy, and the poor like 15-year-old who's just trying to get through her 10-hour shift is just like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. And the guy will go back and into the kitchen and walk through the deep freeze, which then leads to the downstairs. And I gotta say, like, I feel like they must only happen in not very nice McDonald's, which is every McDonald's in the 90s. Because the way McDonald's is going now, they've got like they're redoing a lot of their old buildings to make them look like it's a cool cafe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
'cause
get a
it's like
latte here and also a salad.
McCafe now.
And also a burger that's made of evil.
And like
Yep.
you can sit there and you can order on your phone and they'll deliver it to you as you sit in the McDonald's. It's very fancy. Whereas the 90s McDonald's, yeah, I doubt that the district manager is going to be caring
Wait a minute.
about...
Were you guys even alive in the 90s?
So, they try to sneak into the McDonald's by morphing flies and waiting until someone says the password. So they follow along behind. This person gets
flies.
scanned. As flies, yes. This person gets scanned, and this new thing called a GLEAT biofilter pipes up and says, "Warning, unauthorized life form." And the controller looks over and rolls her eyes and says, "Oh, it's just a bunch of dumb flies, you incessant, overactive little robot." Little does she know, there's actual Animorphs in there. So she walks in, and it says that there is like what does it say? There's like some kind of
A retinal scan.
not a retinal scan. There's some kind of like, basically they've got hunter drones in the Yeerk pool. Axe hears the
That-
name, freaks
The hunter
out.
Later.
drones. The hunter drones come up when they are in the pool.
Are they later?
Right now, they get
right. This
blinded
one is
by a
just
retinal
like,
scan.
This one's
Why
just
did we
like,
let
we're
Tessa
gonna...
do this one?
She admitted to us that she didn't even read it.
I was
know,
really
right?
busy. I got real
You know
busy,
what?
guys.
Actually, this is fine. This is fine. I'm having a
we're
great
good.
time.
See, this is what it's always like for me,
We're
Brayden.
all having fun.
This is why it's always like for me now.
I
So
read
now
the books, Tessa.
I remember the books because I
Apparently
read fast.
not.
So, they're doing a retinal scan, which makes Axe freak out. He's like screaming, "Out, out, 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 out!" They get zapped. They go blind. They don't get killed though, thank goodness. They just get blinded. So, okay, I guess they can't actually sneak into the Yeerk pool anymore. They have to. The only authorized creatures are like human and Yeerk. So that's scary. So they try and figure out a new thing. They decide that they're going to morph moles and tunnel in from the ceiling somehow.
Terrible plan.
They triangulated it to try and like make a tunnel to the top of the Yeerk pool so that they can just dump oatmeal in. It is a very terrible plan, and it takes ages, and the descriptions of them tunneling underground are horrifying.
Also, they have no idea whether it'll work or not. Like,
And they have no
assume
idea
it
whether
does.
it will work. They assume it
And
does.
then they ask Axe later when they're taking like a sit down, like, "Hey, Axe, this will work, right?" And Axe is like, "I assume so."
He's like, "I didn't pay attention in school. I
Yeah.
don't know."
Did they even Google like what moles can do? Because they hit rock like later, and it's like, oh shit, we're fucked.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And also, like, they expect, there's a bit where Rachel goes first, because of course she does, is terrified, she's digging, she comes out because she's so freaked out, and says, oh, I think I dug about this much. They measure, because they tie a little rope to the end of her tail. Oh, it's this long, you dug this much, and Jake gets excited. This much straight down? Wow, we'll dig pretty fast. And Rachel's like, no, hold up. I was at like a 2-degree incline. It's not straight down, bud. This is gonna take a while. So... this is the monotonous, boring work of fighting a war, is being in this little shack and doing your homework as your friends dig underground.
And we
Finally,
have to deal with it.
Finally, Rachel pushes through, and they're there. So they all come down, they demorph. Rachel makes Marco stand on his tippy toes so that he gets surprised by this colony of bats that's just hanging on the ceiling. Because now his head is around them. Did you know that a colony of bats can also be called a cloud of bats?
Cool.
That's pretty cute.
Hey, who's the animal expert here? It's not me. I'm just asking genuinely who is the animal
So they
expert.
morph
We
bats.
need one.
Adam is.
Oh yeah, Adam.
That's true.
He was on here once and never again. So they morph
And now
bat.
he's our best friend, and we never talk to him, but he's our best friend, and we mention him all the time.
They morph bat, and they fly and swoop into the Yeerk pool, and it's terrible. But they find out that there's barrels of oatmeal that have been cordoned off that Visser Three has conveniently taken away from some addicts that they're going to get rid of. There's a huge battle. Everything is awful. There's these hunter robots. The stuff is real shitty. Rachel falls into the Yeerk pool, demorphs, remorphs an ant, and is in like an air bubble in the Yeerk pool somehow, and is alive.
She's on top. She's using surface tension to surf on the water as an ant.
First, she's in an air bubble for a second, and then she's like on top, right?
I don't think she's ever.
Oh, no.
She's never. No, that's the first. That's the. That
was
in
book
the
12.
reaction. Yeah.
That was book 12. She morphs an ant in the air bubble. She morphs an ant in water a lot. So she's, using surface tension.
It's a good
scurries
idea.
Under the dock.
It's clever.
It's
it's pretty
clever.
good.
She demorphs to human and pretends to be a human controller, which is goddamn. She steals a Drakenbeam from somewhere and pushes the barrels into the pool and threatens to shoot them. Visser Three laughs, of course, because he doesn't care. So then he gets pushed into the pool. I forget if Rachel is now an elephant or not, but somehow Visser Three gets shoved into the pool, and she's like, do this.
Yeah.
What happens is she finds the rest of the crew who are scattered throughout the pool in various morphs. Axe has been captured just straight up, and then she finds Marco. Gives him Marco and Gorilla Morph gives him the gun because a gorilla can pull the trigger,
right, 'cause the
and then
gorilla can
she
pull the
becomes
trigger. That's what
an
it is.
elephant. Yeah.
Yeah. So then that's what I was thinking, is that Marco Gorilla threatens to shoot the holes in them, and then Rachel elephant judo smashes Visser Three into the pool. So now they can negotiate, because apparently Andalites can't stop themselves from absorbing through their hooves.
Yeah. It's
There's
not
some conversation in the fandom about this of apparently there was a time later where they say that they can stop themselves from eating.
Yeah, it's one of those inconsistencies in Animorphs that we love.
Maybe it's a thing. I mean, if you were thrown into a pool full of poison, would you trust yourself to not
Just,
have gotten a drop in there?
Just not just try it just for a second. Just to
Well, I
see
think
if
it would be
it's
it would be more like if you were dropped into a pool of PCP
or coke.
would
No,
you
it'd
be
be like cocaine.
I'll
It'd be
just keep my
straight
mouth
up
shut.
Yeah,
heroin or something.
Could you keep? Because even the smallest drop gets in there and runs down your throat. It's gonna go in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
your mouth isn't airtight. It's not watertight.
Maybe
it's not the
yours
worst
isn't.
negotiation they've been in, but it's definitely not one of the better ones. But anyway, they escape. Rachel's mom comes home and tells her about how her client broke out of the. Actually, her client is the family.
Wait. Can I? This is actually just brilliant dialogue. Could I do a reading for you all?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do us a reading, Brayden.
Let me just
But
skip
warm
to the
up
pages.
your voice first, so it's perfect and honeyed.
Nom, 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 nom. I just love this dialogue. It's so clear and concise and so subtle at the same time. What is it? I asked. It's my poor client, Mr. Edelman. She shook her head like she was trying to clear something away.
That's Rachel's
He
mom.
escaped from the institution. The nut house? Jordan asked. He's gone. Ran away. But what's bizarre is how it happened. They're claiming a grizzly bear calmly walked in, knocked the doors down, and told the man, ... in some kind of psychic way, ... I mean, you have to envision a talking grizzly bear, ... a psychic talking bear, ... told the man, ... She checked the notes she'd written down. Told him to leave, get out, but not to do anything dumb, like trying to hurt himself, because... the bear... had had a really lousy day and didn't want to have to save him again. Jordan and Sarah stared at my mother like she was crazy. Hey, I'm not the one who claims to have seen all this. And seen.
Nice. You know what? Thank your lucky stars that it wasn't ... like the covers are.
Oh, God, yeah. That bothers me so much, those 4 dots.
I don't understand the choice.
So yeah, so that happens, and I feel like Rachel, you fucked up because you should have just privately, like telepathically, told Mr. Edelman all of this. Why did you broadcast it so that the nurses could hear?
Yeah.
But the book ends with Jordan coming up, Rachel's sister coming up and saying, "Hey, Rachel, that friend of Jake's, you know, the really cute one, he's here. He has something for you." And Rachel's like, "Who?" Like, no one Jake hangs out with is cute. And Jordan's like, "Oh, you know, Marco, he's so cute. He says he has, like, oatmeal for you."
Yeah, Jordan fucking gets it.
Yeah, man. Her taste is on point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this is a reference to earlier in the book where all of the kids were, like, asking their parents to, like, buy this oatmeal. Because that's the age they are where you can ask your parents to, like, buy sugary cereal and your parents will do it.
Yeah, like all parents did when you asked them to buy sugary cereal.
Wait, what?
My parents never did that.
My parents never did that. No, yeah, like, the only time we got, like, sugary cereal was when it was, like, a special trip, and it was only over alphabets. So that was my, super nice and concise and consistent plot breakdown. As always.
That was great.
I love how fast we speed through those guys. I love
do you guys
how
wanna
I
talk about?
remembered exactly everything about that book.
Because I feel like
enjoyed
this is
that
pretty...
part as well. This
Right.
one was very... It was... I didn't
It's weird
enjoy
to
this
have
one.
two things right back to back, right? So we've heard Joe Bob Finestra. It's like, yeah, I just eat Yeerks.
Yes.
And then here's another way.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
I think that, so some people think that the woman that Rachel runs into in the woods is the safe woman, the woman that they saved from book 1.
I think they would have recognized her.
The Megamorphs one. I feel like they would have recognized her. My theory is that the woman in Megamorphs 1 that Rachel runs into has eaten oatmeal. She was one of the first ones who ate oatmeal.
Yeah.
And that's why she's crazy and lives in the woods, but also knows about Yeerks.
See,
I like how they have to clarify like a million times. It's like instant maple and ginger, because otherwise, really, like all Yeerks would be crazy.
Maybe it's the maple.
Because everyone's eating
Maybe
oatmeal
it's the
at
ginger.
least once.
yeah. Why doesn't
I've
it...
never actually heard of maple and ginger oatmeal. We only
I
ever
think it's
had
'cause
the
it's made
instant
up.
maple and brown sugar one,
Yes.
which is delicious.
Yes.
God, that oatmeal is
Yeah,
good.
I think they like made it very specific and potentially not real, so that
You think that day one the Yeerks would have found this out? There's got to be someone. They've just been infecting average Joes for presumably years, even. And I don't know the timeline. I don't know if it ever specifies it, but
I was just thinking average Joe Bob's. It's everybody except for Finestra. Anyways.
just like they've been infecting average Joes for years. How could not one of them over all those years until now, apparently it's become an epidemic, have ever eaten instant maple and ginger oatmeal?
That's
Well, think about it this way. What if it's like, hey, someone told you, Like one of your friends told you, like, guess what? If you buy this like Chinese ingredient or like this random Chinese like
MSG?
root,
Mikhail?
no, like this weird root you can get from the grocery store, and you'll get super high on it. And it's like there's a pretty good chance you never would have eaten that unless someone told you about it. Do you know what I mean? So one person did it randomly, and then it spreads like fire. The idea of maple and
ginger is so disgusting that literally no one buys it.
But it's not like a strange, rare root. It's cereal.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to find an explanation for why it happened so quickly after. And to be fair, we don't know how much the Yeerks were suppressing this knowledge until this thing with Schwarzenegger
like this was just
happened.
One of those things that it was one guy got out and his human mind was cognizant enough that he wanted to commit suicide because he didn't want to live like this.
Yeah, I suppose it goes back, I guess, oh gosh, there could have been 1 million people who killed themselves before this that like the Animorphs just weren't lucky enough.
Yeah.
That just like looked like just suicides. That's kind of dark shit.
That's one of the troubles for writing like these kind of episodic books, though, is that you have a thing that comes up, and of course it's the first time that it's come up because you haven't like talked about it before, so you can make all these kinds of ideas after the fact for explanations, but until you have enough stuff set up, it's hard to like knock down the pins, you know?
Yeah, it sort of goes back to my point that I made last book, that like there's a lot of stuff that this is sort of, I'm thinking about this as a second wave almost within the books. Like there were in the first 12 books, they had everybody establish like their bit as an Animorph.
Yeah.
Jake, his brother, is a Yeerk. Marco, his mom, is a Yeerk. Rachel,
her dad moved.
Coincidentally keeps having these personal problems at the same time that all this other stuff is happening. Axe and Tobias, they're both in some way alien. Tobias being a hawk, Axe being a literal alien. And then Cassie
has her morality and her horses.
Yeah, that's ... dot. Anyway.
But I agree with
now
you. I
these
think this
ones
is kind of
are
like
just
a
like,
second mini arc.
Yes. Yeah, and then within the second set, they sort of wrap those up. Everybody finds out Marco's Jake sort of comes into his own as a leader and stops caring about Tom as a Yeerk. Marco lets everybody know his mom is a Yeerk. Tobias gets morphing powers again. Yada, 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 on and on. Now we're done that. Everybody's sort of wrapped up their initial initiation into being an Animorph. And now they're just like, all right, we've established, these were our origin stories. Now they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And like getting,
I mean, I agree. I feel like in terms of arcs, okay, book 1 to 12 is, like you said, origin story. This is how I became a superhero. Book 13 to maybe 19, I feel is more like the Animorphs kind of realize their place in the larger world and how big the battle is. Like, Joe Bob Finestre was a Yeerk, and he's way across the country. Like, Area 51 had an alien toilet, and they had a battle in the gardens in a parade.
Okay.
Book 17, there's this underground, there's this whole, like, oatmeal conspiracy going on that they had no idea about, but the Yeerks have had enough time to coordinate pincer movement and, like, steal all of this oatmeal from their hosts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I agree.
I think that also...
Nice.
Like all the stuff that they established and came full circle on in terms of like their roles. Now, like Jake, it's like, oh, I have to be the leader. Oh, okay, and then it's like it's hard to be a leader. Like that's basically what number 11 was. It's like it's hard to be leader, and it's all on me because
number
people don't even fucking remember.
That too, for sure.
Yeah, but then Rachel's thing was like, hey, look, I'm the badass, but actually I'm kind of scared.
This one.
But now we're getting to the point where it's like, I'm a badass and it could kill us all. Do you know what I mean? Like when she shoots the ceiling and it's like, that, like Jake, you didn't ask anyone if you could do that. You
No.
could have killed every single person, and you just fucking did it. Like that.
Super
I think
reckless. Yeah.
they're trying to show how like their main character. There's a million things. It's fiction, right?
It ended up working out, but it's like, yeah, Rachel could have made a better choice, and it's like she's proven a couple of times, like this is not the first example, but she's definitely proven in this one that she is not to be trusted to make the final call.
And in the Escape, I think it's the Escape, the Hammerhead Shark one.
Yeah.
Marco's like jokiness is also the thing that holds him back, because like he can't be
stop.
vulnerable. Exactly. Like he can't tell people his problems because he's so obsessed with putting up that wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, like he's so like he's freaking out about his mom, and Jake pulls him aside and is like, "Hey, you're scaring people. Say some jokes. Be normal." And he's like, "This is really hard. Why did I decide to be a class clown?"
Also,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
relevant to mention Marco is the only Animorph who has decided to leave. Like he told Jake in book
5,
3, 4? In book
Book
5.
5, that was his last
I am
one.
leaving. This is the last one because you guys need me. And then I'm not going to morph anymore. I'm not going to even hang out with you guys anymore. I'm not doing Animorph shit anymore. And when he saw his mom, it changed that. But it's interesting to note that none of the other Animorphs have come to that conclusion. None of them committed to it. Sometimes their arc has been, this is hard. Should I not do it instead? But Marco's the only one who came to the conclusion that they needed to.
Yeah, like Rachel thought about it in book 7, I think it was, where her dad. That's when her dad moved away, not book 12. Book 7, of like I could live with my dad far away from presumably the Yeerks. But yeah, she never actually voiced that to any of the others. Tobias had a bit of that in his book where he lived as a hawk and was like, I'm just gonna be this hawk now. I'm not gonna be a human anymore. But yeah, again, didn't really commit, didn't really give voice to it.
But for this book, like, I mean, it's because we're getting a little off topic here. We're just talking about all the books, but
Well, I think it's cool to do like a check-in, see where we're at.
you're off the podcast.
Get away.
It's okay.
Get away.
Michael
No,
Jack
because
can
we
take my spot.
still have to do all our segments, man. Like, what about the Visser 3 Morph Minute?
This is a morph minute. This is a morph minute. Three. Oh yeah, he turns into a spiky pterodactyl. That's kind of lame, but could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. It was pretty.
It doesn't.
like,
I mean, it's only around for like 3 seconds. They run from it.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of Visser 3 morphs, is like he had such a moment in book 1, like 2 really good moments in book 1, and all the other ones, they just, run away. Get rid of him.
Yeah, and then book 4, it was like, this is like 20 pages of them describing how we're running away for like
It
an
was
hour and a half.
A half a page, but yes. And then
Like
the
30,
grades
I think it was
one
30
saved him.
pages. I'm just confirming right now. Flip. Yeah, it was about 45 pages I spent
I
describing.
don't remember these books at all. It's because I read really fast. It felt like half a page.
I want to say something about our OT peeler as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I there was a moment, and it kind of, I think it came up in the previous book as well, but like Marco and Rachel's thing where he kind of teases her about being Xena, it's a little too much sometimes.
Yeah,
It's like
you think?
he said like something about her slapping on a leather suit or something, and I was like, I would not probably talk to my friends like that. It's a little
They're
creepy.
more than friends.
Even so, in front of like everyone else, including
Yeah,
her
that's like a
basically
joke you make in
boyfriend.
private. Just you and your reflection. Wouldn't
Yeah.
Rachel look good in a leather suit? Fap.
Put that leather suit on. Ugh.
Rachel.
Okay,
Put that
we don't have tons of
leather
time left.
on.
We don't have tons of time left. Unless there's something like critical that you guys want to talk about, I want to talk about probably the most important thing,
Okay.
which
for it.
is Visser Three's thought speak. Okay, here's the
Yes.
thing. He talks to everybody in the area. That's the whole idea. I get it. It's a plot thing. Like, if he only talked to his minions, it probably would be really hard to only talk to, 99% of the room.
You'd have to be
just
really specific in your head about who you're sending it to, and I feel like he's just like, everyone deserves to hear me.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, how much control over that do you have? Because let's say they're 100 feet underground at most. ThoughtSpeak works within 100 feet. So does that mean that somebody in McDonald's who's just like mowing down on a double Big Mac is hearing like, Andalite bandits, crush them?
I want to
people
say
are just freaking out.
But like the churning in their stomach is too loud that it overpowers them.
Hey man, I'm not going to shit on McDonald's.
No, I
shit
love
out
McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
I gobble that stuff up like it's my mistress. That sentence didn't make sense. I'm sorry.
No, it didn't make any sense. Brayden.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen in Animorphs number 18, The Decision? It's probably the most terrifying cover I've ever seen.
It's really bad. Oh, God, it's really bad.
Boy.
That
it's like,
middle
it's not
one.
bad. It's just terrifying.
He's so fuzzy. Oh,
Why does he
The
have so
middle
many
one
abs?
is by far the worst. I'm getting vague Pickle Rick, just imagery.
Yes.
No, you know what it looks like? It looks like the guy from the very first episode of season 3 of Rick and Morty. The alien.
Oh, yeah.
trying
The
to
there's a
government
couple of
aliens,
those.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of those.
But that's
The
exactly what that
tagline
middle
for
one
this
looks like.
one is...
Change a
Change a
little,
little, change a lot.
just
change.
Yeah, there you
Okay,
It doesn't give you anything. This was a neat one.
The decision. Okay, obviously Axe has to make a decision.
He's going to morph
mean-
into a mosquito that's half the size of your
Yeah.
palm.
Yeah.
Because the inside cover is
That's the inside
horrifying as
cover.
well.
The mosquito
Yeah.
is so fucking big.
I don't know. Look, all I can say with certainty is that they're going to have to make the decision to... Axe has to make a decision whether to reveal something to the Animorphs again or not. Whether it's Andalite technology or an Andalite secret. I will probably be tired of it by the end of the book, but...
No, you know what? I think you'll really like this one. This one's a fun one.
Yeah? Okay.
This
You know
one's
what?
just
Maybe
a little
there's-
bit fun. They just got a little bit
Wow, no
silly
influencing the
with this one.
predictions.
Okay.
No influencing the predictions.
They
Hell,
got
maybe-
silly.
Something to do with...
Mosquitoes?
Z-Space? Z-Space. They've been talking about Z-Space. They talk about Z-Space more and more throughout the books, and
Yeah,
Axe
yeah.
is brought... I feel like that's got to have been building up.
I sure
what do you
hope
think?
so. Because, there's
Yeah.
so much build up.
I don't remember at all. I think this might be
Really?
the book where they explain why Axe has a 15-pack. Like, his abs
Right.
are out of control.
It actually... Because they didn't notice on Aximili, or not Aximili, on Elfangor, because he was kind of dying and they had other things to do. But he was actually, like, a fucking wimp. He had a bit of a... He was a skinny mini with a bit of a beer gut. If you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, whereas
Yeah,
his
yeah.
younger brother is just stacked.
Yeah,
And you know what's
and they
really
actually-
weird? You know what's really weird is looking at a human torso that has no nipples on it, and it makes
Yeah.
you wonder, where are Andalite nipples?
And also light blue fur. Maybe Andalites don't milk. Maybe they lay eggs.
Yeah, I think that pretty much does it for predictions. Next week, we'll be doing the Bald Eagle and the Mole for our Live from the Gardens episode. And then the week after that, we'll be talking about Animorphs number 18, The Decision, which is an Axe book.
Until then, you can find more of our stuff on our podcast page at collectivelegacy.org or on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook.
Remember to like, subscribe, do all of your... everything you wanna. Do everything you wanna to us. We are willing.
Yeah. For the Fanimorphs, my name is Mikhail, the host.
I'm Tessa, the expert.
And I'm Braden. Another metaphor for newbie.
And this has been Fanimorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. If you're looking for more Fanimorphs content, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Just search for Fanimorphs, the Dork-Bajir Chronicles. Are you tired of sitting in silence, staring at walls?
Do your ears yearn for something more than the sound of your life passing you by?
Try Inadmissible, a podcast designed by a leading team of experts in the field of excitementology and non-boringness.
On Inadmissible, you'll hear Quinn and Mikhail, two of our bleeding-edge analysts, break down and rebuild the worst ads you've ever had the misfortune to experience.
Listen in as they tear apart lackluster emotional tactics.
Gather round as they explain why you shouldn't make your product look like a steaming pile of garbage.
Poop jokes.
All this and more on Inadmissible, a podcast about terrible advertising. For more details, visit collectivelegacy.org.
Inadmissible should not be consumed if you are easily offended or your tolerance for immaturity is lower than that of a 6-year-old child. Inadmissible may cause fits of laughter so intense your lungs may suffer from burst blood vessels. Consult your doctor before listening to Inadmissible.
Inadmissible, a podcast about terrible ads. Brought to you by
Collective Legacy,
a podcast network.